Hello YouTube, Dave here again. In today's video I want to talk about the Magic the Gathering Arena of the Planeswalkers tactical board game. I've had it for a little while now. I've played a couple of games of it, so I thought, now that I have a little bit of experience with it, I'd like to do an actual review on it. So this came out from Wizards of the Coast, I think back early August is when it was released. There was sort of like a soft release in a few choice locations. Very limited back sort of in the middle of July, but it became widely available on, I think it was August 1st, or even, it was within, I think, the first week or so of August. But anyway, I've had this for a little while now. It's sort of a spiritual successor to the HeroScape game. There's a lot of similarities with it. I never actually played HeroScape, although I do have one of the sets for it. But it comes with, basically, it's got your plastic minis and some other things. We're going to have a look at it here in a second, just show off some of basically the packaging. So the front has the artwork there. I believe that's Jace, one of the more iconic planeswalkers. And this game does involve, like, the faction leaders are all different planeswalkers. There's 5 of them included for the different colors. We'll have a closer look at those in a second. The side just kind of has the proof of purchase and the logos there, and the back kind of just shows you a little bit of what's in it there. So you can kind of see it's a hex map, quite a few things included in here. So I guess it's also available for mobile devices. But anyway, without further ado, I'm just going to open it up and we'll look at some of the contents inside. Alright, so just having a quick look at what's inside the box here. As you can see, this is sort of like a skirmish level kind of miniature game, tactical board game, I guess they call it. So there's quite a few minis included with this box set, actually. And they're all broken down to the different colors. If you're familiar with Magic, you kind of understand what the different colors mean. In all, I believe there are 30 of these regular miniatures. Now, I have heard some people be a little disappointed with the fact that they are all just flat molded colors and not painted. I can kind of understand that, but at the same time, for a game like this, and that they're, summoned creatures and stuff like that, I don't really mind the fact that they're just the basic flat colors. It makes it easy to keep track of which units belong to which army. And the interesting thing is that for the most part, they're actually all, most of them are all sculpted with unique sculpts. I was looking through my set here, and they were all unique poses with the one exception of these two for the White Army. They both are the exact same, but everything else is actually a different unique pose. I mean, the Hellcats here, which I haven't actually ever pulled out of the box, they may be similar, but I believe they're actually all different poses as well. So it's just that one with the White Army there that has some that are the same. I guess those two are pretty similar, but the tails are different. So anyway, like I said, they're all unique sculpts with one exception. So that's something that they certainly didn't have to do. They could have just had, them all be the exact same. So, it's interesting that they actually made the decision to give them all different poses, which is pretty cool. Also included are the Planeswalkers Fakes. Now, these ones here are actually painted. They're not the greatest paint jobs in the world. Let's see if I can get it to focus there. So they're not, nope, I guess I'll just keep that there. They're not the greatest paint jobs in the world. If you ever played the D&D Minis line, they're pretty well in line with the uncommons and stuff like that as far as the paint jobs go. They're not necessarily the greatest. Some of them are not so great, like this one here for Nisa. Face just looks kind of off, the ears look kind of off, but again, not bad for what they are. I think the best looking one would be the Jace figure. So there's actually a little bit of detail that they did here with his robes, which is pretty cool. They also each have like a clear kind of color plastic on them. So like the staff tip, Chandra's flames are all clear plastic, which is pretty cool. We got the Liliana's magical hand there is kind of like a clear purple, and Gideon's is just kind of clear plastic white. But they're not terrible looking. They're not the greatest paint jobs in the world, but considering they're not bad. I'll just leave it at that. I'm okay with them. The only real thing I think is some of the skin textures look a little bit off, mostly with poor Nissa here. But anyway, so those are the Planeswalkers. Each one represents one of the colors. They all have the creatures that they can summon, and they basically come with these are their ability cards. Now, when I got my copy, I actually got two Nissas. So I'm hoping that there's not somebody out there that got a box or picked up a copy of this and didn't have the green Planeswalker. If you do, I apologize. This is just how mine came. Everything else is there. I'm not missing any other cards, so I actually ended up having an extra one. But the cards are pretty simple. So they've got their, let's see if we can get a focus, we got their life, their move, which is how many hexes they can move, the range is how far away they can attack things, and then they've got their attack numbers and their defense numbers. Those aren't static numbers, those are the number of dice they get to roll. So here are the dice here, just regular 6-sided dice. 3 sides will have the sword symbols, 2 sides have the shield symbols, and they each have 1 side that is blank. So the number here would be, so when Nissa attacks, she rolls 3 attack dice. When she defends, she rolls 4 defense dice. And they also all have sort of unique abilities. The way that you play the game is you basically start with your Planeswalker out, and on your Planeswalker's turn, so when you take your first turn, you're obviously going to activate your Planeswalker, move them, and then if you activate your Planeswalker, you have the option to summon up to 2 units. Or squads, I guess they call them in this game. So when you summon a squad, you kind of set the card out, and you put out all the figs. They have to be within a certain number of hexes of your Planeswalker. I think they have to be within 5 hexes, if I recall correctly. Yeah, so that's basically what they look like, and again, they all have the same kind of stats with their attack numbers, defense numbers, and special abilities. Unlike the regular version of HeroScape, to make it feel more like a Magic type of game, each army also includes a set of spell cards. Each army has 12 spell cards that they can use, and they can be things like sorceries that take place sort of immediately, and they usually tend to either give 1 unit disadvantage, like subtract the dice that they can roll, or they enhance one of either your Planeswalkers or your squad. There's aura cards that you can use. You can enchant them either on your Planeswalker, or you can enchant them on a squad, and they each have their own different effects there. They each have a point cost, similar, and actually the squad cards also have a point cost. So right now, those costs really don't matter. They're based off of how much they would cost to build an army. Each faction that's in this, or each color, has a 500-point army, and I believe the spell cards are all the same cost as well. And the exact cost kind of eludes me right now, but they're all pretty well balanced in that manner. You can play up to 3 spell cards on your turn, and they have to be either before you attack with the squad or after you attack with the squad. So you can't do it while attacking. You have to kind of set them up ahead of time. What's interesting is that some of the cards are sort of defense oriented. So like Naturalize here, you put it on one of your squads, and when that squad attacks, if they attack a creature from another squad that has an enchantment on them, you can actually destroy it. That's attached to whatever that figure's army card has. So if you have an army card with like 3 or 4 different things stacked on it, and you are able to use this, then they all go away. What's interesting is that this is also a hidden enchantment, meaning that when you play it, you actually play it face down, so your opponent doesn't know what they are. So it's kind of like an element of strategy, and then you have to kind of look at a risk-reward thing. It's like, do I attack or do I not? So the spells are pretty cool. You start, I think, with a hand of 3, and you draw 1 at the start of each turn. Once you're out of spell cards, that's it, so you don't recycle them. I'm assuming that future expansions will probably have more spell cards for them. Also included are some damage counters. Just little red cubes that you can put on the bases of the monster. So the bases are kind of large enough that you could put one of these cubes on them, and that's how much life they have. So, for example, the big green guy here, he can take 3 damage total before that individual model is destroyed. So that's what that's for. There's also a round marker right here. or turn marker. Each game has a finite number of turns. To be honest, we haven't actually used this in the games that we've played. But if you're playing it with more, people who are more enforceful of all the things or all the rules, then there are a finite number of turns. On each turn, you choose one of your army cards, either one of your squads or your planeswalker, and you only get to activate that one thing. If you activate a squad, you get to go with all the figures still attached to that squad, so you can go with, if you only had two of these guys left, if you activate them, you can go with both of them. So you don't have to choose just an individual miniature, unless it's your planeswalker. Okay, so also included are some glyphs. So these get played usually face down, although some games will have them played face up. And you have to have a unit on it, so you have to have a miniature actually on top of it like this. When you do that, you get some sort of benefit. So the knowledge one here is actually one that's used and then it goes away, so it's a one-use thing, but it allows you to draw a spell card. So you get to draw an extra one of those. The toughness gives you an extra defense dice whenever anybody in your army rolls defense. So as long as you have one unit on there, every single thing that you control will get to roll an extra defense die. There's also the same thing for the power dice. So if you have somebody sitting on top of one of these, everything that you control gets +1 attack dice. And then the last one is movement, so you get to move an extra 2 hexes. Alright, so we got all of that. Now let's talk a little bit about the playing field itself. If you played Heroescape, you know that they gave you basically these big plastic pieces. There are some of those included in this game, but not very much. There's 2 of these 3 hex spaces, and they just kind of link in together just like that, and then they give you 2 of the one hex pieces. Now, if you have the Heroescape stuff, as far as I know, or my understanding is that it is compatible with the Heroescape stuff that you may already have. So if you own Heroescape sets, then you could either use the train in there, or you can supplement, with extra ones of these. You could use those in your Heroescape games, but the main playing field is just these cardboard pieces that link together. You get 6 in total. They're not double-sided. The other side has some information usually about one of the Planeswalkers, and I think one of them just has the Magic the Gathering logo on it. It's a little disappointing that they're not double-sided. It would have been nice to have had the option to have 2 different terrain types, because this here is a little bland looking, and all of them are the same coloration. So it's not like you have some that have like little patches of forest or a little graveyard or anything like that. This is just kind of like basically like an open plain with the water spaces there. So that's that. It also comes with a couple of 3D terrain pieces, so these would kind of stand up. They just stand up like that, and they're there really just to kind of block line of sight. They're not the greatest things in the world, but they work. You know, they look kind of cool as far as the artwork on them goes. See a little scorch mark where somebody got blasted. Little skeleton there. So there's some nice details on them. Not the greatest, again, thing in the world, but it's one of those things that it kept the cost down. Like, one of the things I believe that sunk the Heroescape game was just how expensive it was to produce and how expensive it was for the consumers to purchase. So it was sort of like a cost-saving measure to keep the cost down so that it's a little easier for people to be able to afford. Alright, and the last thing that comes with it is the rulebook. The rulebook's actually pretty good. Most of the things that Wizards of the Coast have been putting out, like their Dungeon Command games or any of the board games that they've been doing, the rulebooks are usually pretty good. I didn't find there were any difficulties understanding the rules as I was reading through it. I know I talked a little bit about in my Dice Masters game how the rulebook wasn't as clear as I would have liked it to be. With this here, I kind of flipped through it a couple of times, and for the most part I really had what I needed in order to play a game. So, not a lot of artwork or anything in it. It usually just has pictures of the actual game pieces, but that's okay. A couple scenarios there. Anyway, so that's what's basically included in the box. Now, I thought I might try something a little bit different actually with this video, and instead of just having like just the basic kind of bland review, my fiance has actually agreed to play a game of this that we're actually going to record, and we're going to include it in this video. So we're actually going to have a full gameplay as well. So if people want to kind of see how it plays, we might get a few things wrong. I just want to let you know that right now. So don't look to this to be the definitive description of the rules. We're just doing it mostly for fun. So if we miss to flip over a hidden enchantment when we probably should have, that may happen. So, I do apologize for that. But I just wanted to sort of give you an idea of how the game's going to flow. So we're going to include that in this video, and I'm also going to have sort of my final thoughts at the end. So we'll get to the gameplay now. Alright, so we're about to play a game here. Now, just keep in mind we do play this mostly for fun, so if we mess up a couple of the rules, I do apologize, but you should get a general idea of how this plays. I'm not going to be playing this alone, I'll be playing it with my fiance Lily.
Hi.
And who are you playing, Lily?
I'm playing Liliana.
Which is the black one, right? Okay. I'll be playing Gideon, so I'll be playing the white army. So, we'll start. Just make sure we shuffle our spell cards. I didn't. Alright, let's draw a hand of 3.
I thought it was 7.
That's for the card game, not for the board game. So 3 cards, and we see who goes first. So whoever rolls highest gets to go first. You want to roll first, sweetie? Alright, she got a 9. I got a 10, so I get to go first. Alright, I'll start with, all I have right now is my Planeswalker, so I'll move him. Gideon's got a speed of 6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, actually I'll go 5, 6. Alright, your turn. Oh, remember, draw a card.
Okay. So how many of these cards can I use?
You can play 3 cards per turn. You have to do it before you attack or after you attack.
Doesn't matter before or after?
Doesn't matter before or after, no. So there's your Planeswalker there.
I played a card that gives you -1 attack on your Planeswalker.
Alright.
And I'm going to play this one too. It's Liliana's Caress. You have to discard a card at random.
Alright, at random. So what I will do, I will let you pick. So
okay.
You pick one.
Another one.
Alright, which one was it? Sanctify Charge. Whenever a white Planeswalker you control deals damage on this turn, remove a damage. Yeah, that was... could have helped me heal some other guys, but that's okay. Are you going to move your Planeswalker?
Yes. But I can bring something out?
You can, yeah, but they have to be within a certain number of hexes of your Planeswalker, so you may want to move her first before you summon anything.
Oh, so I can move and then...
Yeah.
Okay. 4. I can move 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
And then I'm going to put Elf.
You can't, I think it's 5. You can't summon them on top of one of these glyphs. It has to be an unoccupied square.
It's 4 or 5, or what is it?
That's what I'm just looking up right now. I'm pretty sure. Where did it go here? All right, I'm just gonna say I think it's 5 hexes, so within 5 squares, or hex marks on the.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Well, I'm just gonna put them all up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can I do that? Is that okay?
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay. It's not great, but it's okay.
You feel good about it?
I feel terrible about it, but you already went with her, so you can't activate them until your next turn.
I know.
All right, so my turn now. I will draw a spell card. All right, I will go with Gideon, because he's the only person I have out. And I will, before I attack, I will summon my Rocks Veterans, which are these big rhino guys. So there, and there.
It's got an ugly, pretty quick.
Yep, so, do I have any spells I want to cast? I will put a card, so I'll enchant my Veterans with Honor of the Pure. As long as I control only white creatures, all undamaged white creatures I control get +1 attack, +1 defense dice. And I guess, and I'll play a card face down on them as well.
Can you play hidden enchantments on enemies?
No. You play them on your own squad, and they usually get triggered when you get attacked.
Okay.
So speaking of which, Gideon is going to attack this guy here. So what's your defense for your zombie?
1.
Okay, so 1, and normally I get 3 attack dice, but I only get 2. And I rolled a blank and a shield, so nothing there. It's your turn.
Okay.
Draw a card.
So, okay.
Wouldn't be a Magic game without a lot of reading.
Yeah.
Well, which squad are you going to activate, I guess? Are you going to activate your zombies or your Planeswalker?
Well, can I bring these out and attack?
Only if you go with her. You have to activate your Planeswalker to summon.
Oh. Wait a second. Okay, I'm actually going to play Bone Splinters. I'm going to destroy this guy here.
Okay.
And I'm going to deal 4 damage to your Planeswalker, which is the target. I'm going to put him in the graveyard.
Okay.
And just going to describe some picture in that squad. Okay. I'm going to enchant my zombie squad with Dark Harvest, so
Just read everything. Okay.
when you enchant a squad with Dark Harvest, destroy a creature in that squad, enchant a squad gets +3 attack. So I'm going to destroy this guy.
Okay.
And now I get +3, but I can roll with these guys. A 20-sided die, I have to roll 12 or higher, I get them back.
Okay.
But I don't do that now, it's at the beginning of my next turn.
Okay, so are you going to... So, are you activating your Planeswalker or your zombie?
Well, I dealt 4 damage to him this time, so I'm actually going to bring out these guys.
So you're going to go with your Planeswalker?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm going to put this one here. This one here. This one here. I think I can... Yeah.
Yep.
Then that means that each non-zombie creature within 2 clear sight spaces of any of these big guys, get -2 defense.
Okay. So, what is your Planeswalker going to stay where she is, or are you going to move her?
If I move, can I attack as well?
Yeah, you have a ranged attack with her.
Okay, well, I think I'll just move, and I'll stand on this, which gives me +1 attack.
Okay, so for that, the move was 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So you have enough movement to do it, but it costs 1 to go up on an elevation.
So my attack is now 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm gonna try shooting ranged your Planeswalker.
Alright, I normally get 5 defense dice.
Can I do it from here?
Yep, you can. You have line of sight, you're on elevation.
Okay.
And because you're on elevation, you actually get an extra attack dice.
I do.
You do.
Okay, great.
Right.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, normally I would roll
7.
Normally I would roll 5 defense, but I get -2 because I'm within 2 squares of your
6.
creature.
I get plus.
Yep,
I
you get 6.
And your guy has -2 defense.
Yeah, each non-zombie creature. I was hoping it would say squad creature, but it doesn't. So I get to roll 3 dice.
That's -2, isn't it?
Yes, I get 5 normally.
Okay.
Oh,
1 shield.
1 shield. So this is probably going to be a pretty quick game because I only have 2 life left with it. Oh, I'm still alive.
2.
So I block 1 with the shield. Alright. My turn?
Yeah.
Alright. Draw a card. Yeah.
That was really mean.
Yeah, this is going to be a quick game. So, we were worried that the battery on the camera's going to run out. I don't think it's going to run out. So I'm going to go with my Rocks Veterans. So 1 will go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to go up there.
Yeah.
This one's going to come around here.
Yeah.
I only control white creatures. All 3 of these are on damage, so they each get an extra attack dice.
Okay.
They also get defense for each one adjacent to it, but that's not an issue right now. So, I get to roll 4 attack dice.
And for my defense, I get to roll 3.
Okay.
I'm assuming you're attacking
I'll
the Planeswalker.
I'll start with the Planeswalker. 3 damage.
So I take 2.
You take 2, so I'll just put those on the card. For your Planeswalker, you may as well just put those on the card.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to attack. This guy's going to attack this giant zombie here.
You can use 3 of these.
2 swords.
Nothing. It'll hit. He's dead.
How much health does he have?
3.
3. I only did 2.
Oh.
2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So those go on the base of them.
It's hard to do that.
That's okay. And then this one will attack that zombie there. So that's just your regular zombie. What does he roll for defense?
1.
Okay.
Nothing. Dead. Overkill.
Alright.
Okay.
And do I want to play... Nope, I guess that's good for now. Your turn?
How much health does your Planeswalker have left?
1.
I'm going to move...
Well, draw your card first.
Oh. I forgot. I'm going to play this. It's a Killing Wave. You deal 3 damage to all non-zombie squad creatures adjacent to a Planeswalker, so that guy takes 3 damage.
Okay, so he's gone.
And then what I'm going to do is he just has 1 HP left, right?
He does, yeah.
I'm probably better off to shoot him with my Planeswalker, if I think about it.
Okay.
So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, and
1+1 for being on
plus 1 for
on the
being
sigil.
on, and then plus 1 for, what was it?
Higher elevation.
Yeah.
Gives you +1 to attack and defense.
Okay.
Alright. I rolled no shields, so if you roll a single sword, the game's over. You rolled multiple swords. So that's it. My Planeswalker is dead. And the game is over. So that's how quickly it can end sometimes. So I hope you got...
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It happens. You kind of destroyed a good card that I could have used. But it just
What
would have...
wasn't it?
It involved having my Planeswalker needing to roll damage in order to...
Oh, God.
Yeah. Do I have anything that can actually heal? Because the White Army is all about getting into melee.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a couple of healing things. One of them was the next card I was going to draw. So, anyway, that was the game. So I hope you got sort of an idea of how it plays. And again, they can sometimes be kind of marathon games, or they can end in, what, 4 turns for each person?
Sort of quick.
Sort of quick. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that demonstration. And at the end, I'll do my final thoughts. Is there anything that you want to say about the game?
Like, this is only the third time I've played it, ever, and I don't really play these things, so it was, it took a little bit to get used to. I mean, the elevation and stuff's a bit difficult to remember, but for the most part it's not too difficult, I suppose. You always have the rule book you can fall back on, but there's times that we played that, like, we would forget what was on the cards, like, for each squad. So sometimes those things can tend to be forgotten during play, but it's still fun.
So you enjoy it.
Yeah.
You enjoy beating me into the ground.
Yeah, I made you look awful.
You did, yeah. So anyway, I think we're going to cut it off here before my ego gets bruised anymore. And yeah, so the next part will just be sort of my final thoughts on the game. So for my final thoughts on the game, I actually really enjoy this game. I'm glad I picked it up. I waited, it was probably about 3 weeks after it was released before I was finally able to find a copy of it, but I'm glad I did. I got mine at an EB Games in Canada for $45, which, is probably the best price that I've seen it at. I have seen it at a couple of Walmarts for, I think, around $49. So it's something that, it is available. Unfortunately, I went to a couple of local gaming shops, and there's one that does sell things at good prices. They were selling it for around $60, which was a little steep. The other shop that I went to tends to overprice things anyway, so when I was told it would be $73 for the box set, or for this year, I wasn't surprised, and I had no interest in paying that kind of money for it, so I ended up going to TB Games and getting it for $45. If you're kind of on the fence about picking it up, I would recommend doing it sooner rather than later, especially if you live in Canada. The only reason is the Canadian dollar is in the decline right now, and if they have to, they may have got them at a good price when it first came out, but by the time they have to resupply, it's possible that, if it gets shipped from the U.S., that the cost may end up going up and translating from the U.S. to Canadian dollars. I believe it's a $30 U.S. price. There's no prices printed on the box, so I'm kind of going off of memory there. And again, even those prices aren't bad. I mean, the $60 I may have considered just for the amount of things that you get in the box. You get quite a bit, but I'm glad I got it for the price that I did. Let's just put it that way. The only thing that I really kind of have an issue with when it comes to the game, and not even the game, just when it comes to the set itself, is the storage. Now, the miniatures all fit in really nicely into the trays. They pop in, a lot of them they kind of snap into place so they're secure. The bottom part here with the larger miniatures just has like the little cardboard dividers, which I keep in there. I don't want to remove any of that stuff. I just don't like things in the box kind of rolling around or crashing or banging around if I'm moving stuff around, like if I'm moving the box. I don't want to hear stuff kind of shifting around. Another one of the things that I did notice is some of the bases for the Planeswalkers are a little bit warped. So, like Chandra's here doesn't really sit flat. I saw another review online where they said the same thing, so I'm thinking it's not something that's unique to the set that I picked up. Not that that's a huge concern, but it just doesn't look the greatest when you look at how, kind of warped the bases are. So it's not the prettiest thing when you're just looking at them. But again, that's sort of a minor gripe because they sit well. Like they're not, they don't tip over. They don't have an issue standing up. It just doesn't look great with the warp bases. And again, that's something that I've heard of being an issue with a couple of different reviewers. So if you do get it, expect to have some of the bases warped. The other things that I don't like is the storage for the dice and the counter. So the dice just comes in this plastic bag. Now what I did, I don't like things rolling around in my boxes, so I just slit the bag open and I just keep the same bag and I just put everything back into it and just kind of fold it over and tuck the dice in so they don't fall out. But my main concern was with these counters and the turn marker, which is actually pretty small, so that could be lost easily. The cubes themselves are also kind of tiny, but they didn't have anything. They just had the same kind of bag that you'd have to cut open in order to get into. So I'm glad that I save things, even though my fiance makes fun of me for doing it. This Ziploc bag came with a little miniature bookshelf that I have my CDs on upstairs. This was what had all the screws in it, so I kept the bag hoping that I might be able to use it for something. When I picked this up, I was relieved to find out that I still had this and that it didn't get thrown away on me. So I've got all my life counters stored in here. But it would have been nice to have just had little Ziploc bags or something that was resealable to put all the stuff in, just to make the storage a little cleaner, so you don't have a lot of stuff rattling around, for example. But that's a minor gripe. That shouldn't be a make or break, hopefully, for anybody. As much as it kind of irked me, it's not something that's going to stop me from wanting to play the game or to purchase any more future products for it. As far as those future products goes, the first expansion is set to release in January. It's going to include 2 new Planeswalkers, and I don't really know much else beyond that. I'm hoping, and details may be released as time goes on, but I'm hoping that even though there's only 2 Planeswalkers, that it includes some new squads for each of the colors, because the Planeswalkers are obviously going to have, a single color affiliation, I would say, similar to how the ones here do. So I'm hoping that they have something for everybody that would want to play the game, because it may be a bit of a missed opportunity if the expansion is like red and like, let's just say red and black or red and blue, but the person who buys this game and he plays it with a couple of his friends, none of them like those colors. So I'm hoping there's something for everybody. I'm hoping there's some new spell cards. I'd like to see some sort of customization options where you can start to kind of build your own armies. Just because right now all you have are the 2 squads that come with the that come in here, and even if you bought a whole second box set of this, it would still just be the same 2 army cards, like the same 2 squads. So you would now have 6 of a kind instead of 3 of a kind. And that doesn't really make the game more customizable. It just means that you have a few more disposable troops. You still only have the 1 Planeswalker, and even if you have 2 of the same person, I can't really imagine fielding 2 of the same Planeswalker. Just to me personally, it wouldn't seem right. But so I'm hoping there's a little bit of everything for everybody, even if it's not Planeswalkers, but just squads and magic cards and stuff like that. And the other thing that I'm worried about is just the amount of time between the release of the game and the first expansion. 5 months is a long time with what's in here. There's a chance that people may get tired of playing it and may lose interest altogether before the first expansion even comes out. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. But I could see how it, it is a possibility. If you always play the same color and your friends always play the same color, you're always going to have pretty similar games. The only differences are going to be what spell cards come out in what order, and how the dice roll. I mean, that's basically going to be it. So there's a chance that people could just simply get tired of it before the first expansion is even released, and it would be a shame because I really want to see this succeed. I'd like to see this go on. I'd like to see a few more expansions come out, not to the point where they're oversaturating, and I don't want them to start doing like blind bags or anything like that. I don't want there to be any sort of randomness or anything to this game. I want to be able to go out and buy, a particular thing. I don't want to have to buy 6, boosters of something to get the one card that I was looking for example. But other than that, I mean, again, it's a fantastic game, so I'm hoping that it does survive. I'm hoping that people do keep their interest, at least enough that even if they don't play it for, a couple of months before the first expansion comes out, that there's still enough interest there to go and pick that up. Anyway, that's my video for the Arena of the Planeswalkers tactical board game. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay video. And if you were on the fence about it, I hope that this sort of helped you, hopefully one way or the other, hopefully towards buying it. But I hope that, if you were on the fence about it, that you did find this video helpful. Anyway, again, thank you very much for watching YouTube, and we'll see you next time.